Well, good evening and welcome from beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. We're going to let a few of you folks hopefully get in on the streams that we have out in the various locations on the web-o-meter out there. I am John Phillips. This is Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, live from Greenville, South Carolina. That is right. We are back on the air tonight on a Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll have a few people joining us in here this evening, and we'll be able to talk for the next hour about a variety of topics. It was a fantastic day for me down here. As I've said before, I've done work here in South Carolina now since 2021. Actually, before that, before I moved down here, before 2021, I had done some work down here in South Carolina. But I'm in the upstate right now in Greenville. I'm staying in Spartanburg, technically. I guess the show is from Spartanburg. Let's be specific about that. Real big day. Had a great day this morning. Put some people to work. Visited multiple sites. Set up a big meeting on Thursday in Charlotte. So my trip is going to continue down here tomorrow and then on Thursday. And I can't ask for more. But you get in what you put out, or you get out what you put in, I guess is what they say. And so today was a good day. We put some people to work, and we're going to put more people to work tomorrow. And it's things. The winter has been brutal. I can't even begin to describe to you how much I have despised moving back to Pittsburgh and having to deal with winter. And mind you, the last two winters down here in South Carolina have featured snow and ice. Didn't happen while I was living down here for 4 years. Somehow I evade all of that. I move and they get snow, and this year they got snow and ice. So it was pretty brutal for those that live down here, and the natives down here. They can't handle it because they're not used to it. I mean, they might get it from time to time, occasionally, but when it hits, and like it did 2 weeks ago with the snow, and then last week with the ice, they got like an inch of ice. There's nobody moving down here. You cannot move on any of the highways because they have no salt trucks. They have no salt. They have no trucks. They have no salt and trucks. So down here, when the weather gets real ugly, it becomes a major problem. So as it was, today was a pretty good day, and I continue to stay down here because I absolutely love it. And it was 70 degrees today. That was the real nice thing. 70 degrees was just piece de resistance, and I called my wife. She's like, this snow isn't melting up here. I'm like, I sure as hell hope it's gone when I get up there on Thursday, but we'll see. I guess we'll see. It is early, almost quite mid-February, and we have to deal with these sorts of things because, Phil the groundhog said so. But when you're in 70-degree weather, life's a little bit different. It has a different feel to it. So I digress. A couple of you starting to join us here on our live streams, both on YouTube, X, and on our Facebook page. If you're somewhere out there, you're welcome to drop us a comment. We will have Epitome of Yinzer on our show this evening at 7:30 this evening. An X account that if you have not, I don't know if you're on X or not, but if you are, go check out Epitome of Yinzer. He is at E Yinzer on X, and it's basically an account dedicated to his father. This guy's name is Jim, and his father is just he does a lot of videos of him watching Steeler games or just sporting events in general. And I'm going to try to share some of this with you right now because I think when I came across this account earlier last year sometime, it was like early in the football season. I was mesmerized by it. It was just quite the spectacle. So let's see if we can bring you a little of this footage from Epitome of Yinzer. He's going to join us at 7:30 this evening, and hold on here. I'm just having a little bit of a share screen, and this one here, we're going to share this. Let's see if this works. I'm trying.
Okay, now we got to run our two fronts and
Oh
punt.
my God! Out of the end zone.
It never was working tough to begin the snap. Here's a handoff to Jalen
7 yards.
Strong.
Let's not do that again the whole drive.
That's right. Let's not run that against it. They'll stop it.
They need to go stop.
Eccles to the 4.
Let's not do that again.
Where is Metcalf at?
He's
Not
done.
since the drop.
He dropped that drop.
Where is he?
Where's anybody?
Yeah, but Metcalf's the main person there.
Well, is he in the play? Is he in the
He
game?
takes all the money.
There he is over there. He's man coverage. They cover him with a
It
man.
doesn't matter, Dad. No.
First down.
Push him over.
Oh, I'm not sure they gave him first down.
Third down.
They gave it to us.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
First down.
Are you kidding me?
You know, we talked about it coming in, Joe.
You're not gonna score like this. You gotta get chunk yards.
We don't get
Here,
Trump.
you have to.
When do we get Trump yards?
You think we're gonna drive 80 yards
When do we get Trump yards?
right now?
We never get Trump yards.
You gotta
When
fucking.
we go for Trump yards, they drop the ball.
We need to fucking roll out and throw it.
No, they got to keep running.
Oh, Dad, you're an idiot. They're on the fucking 12-yard line, for God's sake.
Flag
There's
on
a
the play.
5-yard penalty. The run's
Already.
over.
Nice going, bro.
Offense. Number 81.
Air 81.
And he's still in the game.
Yeah. 81 is
Yeah.
to get him out of the game.
He's our great player.
It's just the most amazing thing. I'm going to tell you, and I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that there are people like this in every city in America, right? We have our Yinzers, and I'm sure in Philadelphia, New York, Boston, right down here in the South, across the Midwest and out to the West Coast, you have people of this nature that are just unique to that region. And there are a handful of them that are sports fans, and they probably react in a similar way. So hopefully at 7:30 tonight, Epitome of Yinzer will be joining us for a little lively conversation. We hope you can join us this evening for a little bit of time. We are talking about a variety of topics this evening. Let's talk a little bit about a little bit more fallout from the Super Bowl and, Sam Darnold, a real legacy game for him. Not that he was super exciting. He was very conventional, just over 200 yards passing, did not commit any mistakes. I did find something interesting today, though, and we're going to talk a little bit about Boomer Esiason today. We got a couple subjects that involve Boomer Esiason. Boomer, of course, hosts Boomer and Geo on the WFAN in New York City. Of course, nationally syndicated on CBS Sports Network from 6 to 10. Boomer came up with something interesting today regarding this tax that the state of California has, a jock tax. So anytime athletes that live in California and work there, and then athletes that come in and work, they are taxed for the time that they are working in the state of California. And this is pretty amazing to me. I don't know how they figure this out. I don't even know how they get away with this. But Sam Darnold lost money on the Super Bowl. Okay? Like, legacy game for Sam Darnold, right? Darnold was paid like about $175,000 for his victory on Sunday against the New England Patriots. According to Boomer Esiason, Sam Darnold, based on the California jock tax, had to pay them about $250,000 for the time that he was in California working, which was, I believe, Monday. They flew in. Till the time Sunday when they played, which was 7 days. Keep in mind, he has to play in San Francisco once a year, and then he also has to play in Los Angeles once a year. The jock tax cost him over $250,000 for the Super Bowl. So basically, for Sam Darnold, he lost about $70,000 last week to play in the Super Bowl, win, and then watch all of the money that he earned to be taken away by the state of California. I don't know how anybody, I don't know how the NFLPA puts up with it, quite frankly. it speaks to such a level of like just insanity that the world we live in, right? It's bad enough that we are taxed to death on everything that we do. Property tax, income tax, sales tax, gas tax, cigarette tax, soda tax, right? Go in and you buy clothing, go to a store and you buy liquor, purchase a gun, purchase fireworks, whatever it is that you're buying. We are taxed insanely. But this jock tax that Darnold and others, obviously, right? We're not just talking about Sam Darnold. We're talking about the entire roster of the Seahawks. We're talking about the entire roster of the Patriots. And apparently the state of California is going to collect all of their Super Bowl winnings and losses, plus more than that. On top of all of that, for I think it's 3.5%, he was saying, 3.5% per day compounded. Why are they playing Super Bowls in California? If I was the NFLPA, I'd be demanding that this be changed. It's probably not going to happen, right? They didn't build SoFi Stadium and Levi Stadium not to use them. I've always maintained that they should put the Super Bowl at least once every 4 or 5 years in Pasadena, but that stadium is so old now. It's probably one of the most picturesque, scenic venues in all of sports. Nonetheless, I digress. Sam Darnold, adding insult to injury, all the travels, right? Drafted by the Jets, discarded, goes to Carolina, discarded, a year in San Francisco, purgatory, a year in Minnesota, 14 wins, discarded after 1 year, goes to Seattle, wins the Super Bowl, doesn't even make any money on the trip. Nobody made money, apparently, and especially Sam Darnold. How about Bad Bunny? I want to talk a little bit about Bad Bunny for a minute. How about Bad Bunny breaking records at the Super Bowl this year? So Rock Nation, which is Jay-Z's production company, when it took over the Super Bowl halftime show in 2019 and 2020, and you can look at some of the numbers here, Bad Bunny sets a record. And I gave you my thoughts on the halftime show yesterday. Look, at production-wise, it was fine. If you heard any of the lyrics, that if you got any of the translation, you would understand why it was probably best that he did everything in Spanish, right? And as I said yesterday, musicians have been demonic in terms of their messaging for 60, 70 years now. So it's no shock to me that he was saying some of the things that he did in his Super Bowl halftime show and other lyrics that he has and some of the other songs that he sings, how he dresses, all of that stuff. But apparently it was good for business because they got the highest ratings they've ever had since Rock Nation took over the halftime show. 135.4 million views overall through all platforms. Bad Bunny breaking records at the Super Bowl yesterday. Okay, let's talk a little Steelers here. And I want to talk a little bit about unrestricted free agents. I want to talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. I heard some talk a little bit today regarding Rodgers, and some people were, a little concerned that, that since he and his, Mike McCarthy have talked, obviously, since Sunday, the news kind of broke out that, those two had talked, and, it really looked like that if Aaron's coming back for another season, he's going to come back and play for the Steelers. I said yesterday, unequivocally, it's either the Steelers or nothing for Aaron Rodgers. I can't see him going to Minnesota. I just can't. I would be stunned if that actually happened. I think he would play one more year. I think he would play under Mike McCarthy for one more year. Obviously, all indications were that the players that he played with here in Pittsburgh absolutely spoke highly of him. He wasn't the distraction that a lot of people had talked about. Obviously, the appearances on Pat McAfee when he was with the Jets. Of course, he was banged up completely in that season in 2023. It rendered him useless. So he had plenty of time to chat, and certainly some of the things that he said made headlines, but he was very businesslike this year here in Pittsburgh. Maybe some of that had to do with Mike Tomlin. Maybe it didn't. But Rodgers was certainly well liked. And that was one of the things that seemed to reverberate in the feedback people were getting from players regarding Aaron Rodgers coming back. Look, I think Dave Damashek, who has worked on NFL Network and has been a part of sports media for 25 years, he's worked in Hollywood, Pittsburgh guy. He's basically saying if Rodgers comes back and the Steelers aren't really willing to admit it, they're probably waving the white flag and there'll be no Super Bowl next year. I understand that take. I understand that line of questioning, if you will, or feeling that way. Good evening, Mean Green. Good to see you tonight as well. Yes, the Steelers shirt. I wanted to be a little comfortable this evening. In my hotel. I'll talk about the hotel. I've already talked about how great this hotel is, Mean Green. I absolutely love this place. It's one of my favorite spots when I travel, hands down. I need a good hotel. This place, 4 Point Sheridan in Spartanburg, definitely a winner. If you're ever coming down here, this is the place you want to go to. But I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers a little bit more specifically. I do think that if the Steelers bring him back, depending on how they do in the draft, right? I don't think a quarterback in the first round is important. I want them to take a wide receiver. Now, you go get a quarterback in the second round, maybe the third round, maybe on day 2, to work with, Aaron, to put some challenge to Will Howard. We don't know what's going to happen with Mason, right? He's got one more year left on a contract. He'll probably come back for camp. We'll see how this all plays out. I don't know if the Steelers, they've got 12 picks in the upcoming NFL draft. Will they take a quarterback on day 2? I don't think they'll take a quarterback on day 1. I don't know if they have the ability to move up high enough to take anybody in the top 2 or 3. I don't see the Las Vegas Raiders taking anybody other than Mendoza at number 1. I think it would be a disaster for the Raiders to trade out of that pick. I think they've got to take Fernando Mendoza and invest in him. I think that's their play. I really do. I don't see them moving out of that pick. And if you're not taking him, do you want to move up? Do you want to give up a boatload to get the second or third pick in a draft where quarterbacks are just not as strong as they had been in the last few years? And it's a real roll of the dice. It's a real roll of the dice for whoever is making these decisions. Mike McCarthy, Omar Khan, the Rooneys, as a collective, they've got to figure all of this out. And as I've said, since the end of the season, knowing where Aaron Rodgers stands is mission critical, right? That's the first component to how you plan for April. How do you plan for the draft? Well, you got to know where Aaron Rodgers is. You have to know where Aaron Rodgers stands. And you need to know that in the next few weeks. You continue your due diligence. You go to these, all-star games, the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine game. I don't even know if they play that anymore. I know there's a couple of these games that happen still, more like scrimmages more than anything else. But you go to these, you check out the players, you check out these kids that are declaring for the NFL draft, and you start to look at positions. Where are our needs, right? You've probably sat down by now, if you're Mike McCarthy and the team, and you're sat down and you've probably said, okay, here's our unrestricted free agents. Here's who we deem to be the most important. Here's who we don't want back. Let's talk about potential casualties, right? I was taking a look at some of that stuff here this evening. Patrick Queen. If the Steelers decide to get rid of Patrick Queen, they could save over $13 million this year. So if you're going to cut a guy like Patrick Queen, there's $13 million in your cap that you're saving. If you're going to cut a guy like, say, Jonnu Smith, all right, let's talk about Jonnu Smith for a moment. A guy like Jonnu Smith, if you cut him, you're talking about saving over $7 million. I don't know Jalen Ramsey's savings is, but I can tell you he would be one of them. And one other that I came across was Malik Harrison. Malik Harrison, you could save over $4 million if you cut a guy like that. Those three players that I mentioned that I have numbers for represent nearly $25 million in cap savings. You're already looking at about a $60 million window for you as it is. You save another 25 or 30 million on those four guys. Now you've got a $90 million surplus of money to work with in your free agency because your rookie deals are completely separate. That's a separate pool of money you're talking about. Still counts towards your cap, but you've got rookie money. First round gets X, depending on where they're taken. Like the NFL has a structure for all of that, folks. The NFL has a structure for all of that. First round, round one, pick one, ceiling. Round one, second pick, ceiling, and so on and so on and so on for each of the 7 rounds plus the compensatories that you have. The Steelers are in a decent position, right? They can sit down and figure this out. That's what they're paid to do. But having Aaron Rodgers an answer on that is important. And I don't think it's a throwaway for the season next year. New coaching staff, evaluate talent, figure out what you want to keep, figure out who you want to keep free agent-wise, or at least try to. And as I mentioned yesterday, it's Kenny Gainwell and everybody else is, up for bids. And there really aren't that many that when you look at the unrestricted free agents, I mean, do you want to bring Kyle Duggar back? I don't. Connor Hayward, is he somebody you want to bring back for what? Situational tush pushes? Jabril Peppers, Asante Samuel Jr., Isaac Siamalu. Siamalu might be somebody I would look at. Calvin Austin III. They're talking about Austin commanding about $7 million a year. When your quarterback's throwing for 3,200 yards and you don't have a wide receiver 2, and you're not sure if a Calvin Austin is a wide receiver 2, is he worth $7 million a year? Or is that money better spent on rookies who you can bring in potentially if you can find a wide receiver 2 and you go with what you have in the draft and you try to develop some guys? I'd be curious to see what some of you might think. You're welcome to drop comments in the comment section if you're on YouTube, X, or on Facebook this evening. We've got Mean Green checking in saying, my birthday's coming up on the 16th. I look forward to getting a new Steelers shirt for my birthday. I hope you got, I don't know where you buy your stuff at, Mean Green. I go down to the Strip District, to Yinzer's in the Strip, and I spend a lot of money there. There's that knockoff place with all the knockoff shirts that from time to time we'll spend some money at as well. But this is a Yinzer's in the Burg. I bought a few of them this year for the show on Sunday, and I'll add some more probably during the spring and summertime to dress up the wardrobe. Some people were like, why are you wearing Steelers gear? Well, we did a Steelers pregame show. I thought it would be, appropriate. I did dress in some civilian wear a few times, but a couple friends of mine were like, yeah, you look better in the Steelers stuff. And I thought, hey, it's a YouTube show. I'm not on television, although, it's nice to look spiffy from time to time, but you can get good stuff down there. I know everything is pricey nowadays. Doesn't matter where you go. If it's got the NFL logo on it, or if it's got one of those on it, you're going to be paying 70, 80, 90 bucks. There's just really no getting around it. And that's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind spending money on a quality product, if you will. So I guess Mean Green says he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Well, congratulations. It's a great venue. Lots of history. I love Canton. Love going out there. Seen a number of football games over there over the decades. It's been a while since I've actually been to a game in Canton. Maybe we'll take something. And I know Canton McKinley plays their home games there. That's kind of cool that a high school gets to play their games at the Hall of Fame stadium there in Canton, Ohio. And We've got Trail Guide Steve checking in saying, I'm eating chocolate and peanut butter. Well, hey, Steve, save some for me and kiss the frog while you're at it out there. Okay. Hopefully here shortly we will have Epitome of Yinzer checking in. I don't know if he's going to make it tonight or not. We tried to put this together at the last minute. I'm hoping he'll be able to check in here this evening, and if he doesn't, that's okay. We will certainly talk about a variety of other things if he is not available. I do want to talk about this Boomer Esiason stuff here today. So Boomer Esiason, morning host on Boomer and Geo on WFAN in New York, was discussing athletes, and I want to talk a little bit about being able to address essentially freedom of speech. We'll actually get to that in a few minutes. I do believe we're going to get Epitome of Yinzer in here in just a few moments. He is backstage. We're going to let him get his camera set up, and hopefully we can bring him on in here in a few minutes. I just absolutely love the whole idea behind his website. It's or his X page. It's truly remarkable. It really is. It kind of captures the essence of what it is to be in this city and watching games with a certain aspect of generation of people. So it's and again, as I've said to him before, just kind of chatting with him via DM and also via text message, it's very, very Pittsburgh centric. It really is. I don't know if we're going to be able to, we'll try to bring him on here now and see if we can get him in here. He may not want to use his camera, and that's okay if he doesn't. Let's see. Jim, are you there?
Hey, what's up? I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Jim, who runs the X account Epitome of Yinzer, which is if you're on X, it's Yinzer, capital E, capital Y, Yinzer. It's a pleasure to bring you on. I appreciate you coming on with me this evening on our tiny little show here online, but nonetheless, very grateful to speak with you. So I have to get to the genesis of the account. When did you decide that you wanted to, and I believe this is your father and this is family, correct, that you're showcasing on your X page, is it not?
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's correct. It's my father and his father mainly
Okay.
that are in the videos.
So what was the genesis behind all of this? Because you only started this a few years ago, and it's primarily during the football season, but obviously you've been seeing this your whole life. What got you to decide to put this account together? Because it's brilliant stuff. It really is.
Thank you. I'll try not to be long-winded with it, but it goes back so far, like you alluded to. He's been like this before I was born and all the way through. So, I'll take it back to maybe 2003 or 4. The camera phones came out, So I would always try to sneak a clip, and I would just send that through text message to cousins and a couple friends, and we would just crack up and laugh. That was it. Fast forward a number of years, social media, smartphones, and what have you. So I have a little bro. I'm almost 40.
Okay.
About 50 more days. I have a little brother who's 25 who, he's still over there all the time. And I have a family, and I can only get over there so much. So he kind of took over, getting a few clips here and there. And he got a really good one in 2021 during the regular season against Cleveland. It was on Halloween. That was the game. And he sent it to me.
Play retarded,
I put it on there, and it went viral. So, basically, at this time, he didn't know we were filming him. It was candid for quite some time, and then when we started to really get all these followers, I had to break down and tell him, So I said, hey, and he's very, he's a wild man and he has no filter. And I can't even post 60, 70% of the stuff he really says, but because he's off his rocker. But it's just, it's a lot. It's, if I could have a full-time crew over there with cameras, I would, because there's something to be filmed at any moment you walk in on a Tuesday, Saturday, whatever it is. And my grandfather's 93. They're polarizing. My dad's nuts and my grandfather is completely normal. So
It seems like your grandfather eggs him on a little bit too, does he not? Like it's
he
the back and
he
forth between those two is fantastic.
yeah, he knows how to push the buttons, and it's almost like sometimes my dad doesn't even realize it. So it's a hoot. It's loud.
Did you see that?
We
Aaron Rodgers has
So go
we
ahead, Gov.
so anyway, it started blowing up, and I actually went to the same high school as Pat McAfee.
Oh,
Um,
you went to Plum. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
and I actually have a closer friend who works on the show behind the scenes, and I would always share them with him, and he was like, "Oh, I got to show this to Pat." So we got a lot of plugs through there.
Okay.
You'll find those clips if you scroll through, and he was very. I appreciate him for plugging us. This was all back in 21, so I sold a bunch of T-shirts and made a website, sold some koozies, and it was going. And I thought that I thought it was something I could monetize,
Okay.
mainly for them. I don't know if you can
Sure.
tell by the decor that they don't have much money over there. My dad doesn't have any money, and I thought maybe this could be a way that I could, get some revenue and money coming their way. And it only went so far. I right now it's 16,000 and change followers, and I never really eclipsed anything further. Um, it's tough. Social media is a full-time job if you want to really
It
make
is.
money. And I didn't have, family, my career. It's tough. So it's something I do want to push forward, but I've kind of hit a wall there. So I just do it for fun. And, you know,
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. I think that look, you found some sort of niche thing, and I was talking a little bit earlier. I said there's probably somebody like your dad and grandfather in every NFL city, right? It's unique. Yinzers, like the epitome of the Yinzer thing, is obviously unique to us, right? And I'm sure in like in Miami or in Dallas, you probably have people that are have that quirkiness to whatever that regional dialect might be or personality that kind of fits in. But like you said, it is a full-time job, and if you've got a day job, but I've got a day job. I mean, I'm on the road right now trying to, do an hour a night, 3 nights a week after, putting together a Steeler pregame show with a bunch of people. And I've
right.
enjoyed it. I'm back into my element of doing something that I did for a period of time in my life for a living, and I enjoy it. But for yourself, you find a little niche, and it gets to a point where how do I expand on this, right?
Right.
How, or do I just appreciate it for what it is, and maybe it grows over time? I would think, just me personally. I mean, I obviously the football season is the big one, but how is with hockey and baseball, or is it really just football for those two
Oh,
when
so
games are on?
it's really the same with hockey, but only if it's
Okay.
playoffs.
Okay.
It's where he really ramps up, and you'd have to really scroll down to find some old playoff videos. I think back in the 2000s, it might be worse if there's a Stanley Cup in sight, but the crazy thing is, he is who he is, and he's never gonna change. And then when we, let him know that, hey, we're filming you this game because it's funny and I'm trying to make some money here. He got a little nervous. You never know this, but he is a bit introverted.
Okay.
Um, and he got a little weird, but after a couple minutes, he kind of forgot about the phone You know, he doesn't even really notice. He's so focused on the game and screaming and doing his thing that he doesn't even really, we don't sit there with a tripod. We're still discreet, even though he's aware that we're there. So he's true to himself. He doesn't act different when we come over with the camera on or anything like that. He is who he is. So that's pretty cool. That you always get comments that, say it's staged and this and that, but that would never be the case. He's incapable of doing that.
Yeah,
I
right.
I actually tried to do some advertising stuff with him, giving him a few lines, and he just was like, "This, I can't do this. This isn't for me." So,
Well, and that's it. It is a very natural, raw reaction. I think if anybody is going to watch any of these videos, that there's no, if you have any sense to, you know, who people are and what they do, naturally, it's very natural coming from him. Listen, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time and keeping some anonymity. It really is the logo. Who designed the little yellow logo with? I'm just out of curiosity. I love that.
yeah.
Where did it come from?
that's me. I do all that. It was a regular picture of his head, and I just turned it into art, and then put those lines for him screaming. Yeah.
That's so great.
Um.
It really is. It's very clever, and I think over time, if you're just doing it as a casual, natural thing, I'm sure you're going to see more growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm on there.
16,000 is not bad.
Yeah, and I've got maybe 6 on TikTok and another
Okay.
couple on Insta. Try to mix it up, but the
Yep.
last thing I'll say is, if you go in the comments and you see, he'll complain about something that's going on, right? And you get comments that are like, what I'm trying to say is people will sort of give their rebuttal about his reactions and how they don't agree, and he's up and down, and but that's one play to the next. You hate the team, you love the team. That is the epitome of a yinzer.
It
So
is.
like they have to learn how to roll with that. So
It really is amazing. Listen, seriously, thank you so much for coming on. Great content. Your dad, your grandfather, it really is. It's truly, it's very natural, right? And that's that raw, natural element of video is always top tier, and it really is it is the essence of what our city is, especially when it comes to the average fan. It really breaks it down that way. It truly does, and you have captured something. I appreciate you coming on the show this evening and just giving us a few minutes of your time, Jim. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot. Love to do it again sometime.
All right. Well, hey, closer to the season, maybe. If I can build this channel out a little bit, I'll be doing some live streaming. Maybe we can bring you in for a little live video during the season at some point in time.
Yeah,
that would be spectacular.
I'd be interested. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Thank you so much. Epitome of Yinzer on X. Just a special. Again, I don't know, if you're on X or not. It's my favorite platform, despite being kicked off of it 7 times. Despite that fact, it's my go-to for content. I'm getting a little bit more familiar with TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube and Facebook are what they are. They've been institutions for a long time. But I love X, the X platform specifically, because you come across stuff like this, right? Here's a guy that a few years ago was like, all right, we've seen enough. Let's get this online and see what people do. And they react to it, right? And, you get a following of some kind. And obviously the football season is pretty big for everybody. But Epitome of Yinzer, Yinzer on X. And the website also being epitomeofyinzer.com. So please go check that out. Go buy a koozie. Go buy a T-shirt so that they can take care of Jim can take care of his dad and his grandfather. Okay. I'm trying to find guests, unique, special, all of that. Working on getting Tony Bruno on the show. We're working on some scheduling stuff there. I've got a few others that I'm looking to do. Penguins Jesus is another one. Hopefully we can get him on at some point in time. But I want to thank Epitome of Yinzer for coming on the show this evening and giving us a few minutes of his time. This is Steel City Sundays, Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. And if you're on our YouTube channel, if you're on our X page or on Facebook watching us live, John Phillips live from Spartanburg, South Carolina tonight. Most likely going to be here again tomorrow evening. I'm supposed to go to Charlotte for a very big meeting I scheduled today on the fly for Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. I might drive to Rock Hill tomorrow. I don't know. I am in my favorite hotel when I travel anywhere in this country, in the 4 Point Sheraton in Spartanburg. It has everything. It is a spectacular venue, clean rooms, spacious, amenities, food, nightlife, culture, you name it. In Spartanburg, South Carolina, can you believe it? Not like those people in Greenville that want $500 for a room at the Spring Hill Suites. Please lower your prices so I can stay in Greenville. I got to get up and drive 45 minutes in traffic to work tomorrow. It's not too bad at 6 a.m. I can get back and forth as I need to early in the morning times, but I stay out here mostly because of the value, but also because I really do like the hotel. It's actually pretty good. All right. I want to get back to the comments that Boomer Esiason made today on the WFAN Fan Morning Show and on CBS Sports Network regarding Olympians and unfavorable comments that they're making at the Winter Olympics. Look, everything is political nowadays, right? Everyone is political. Everything is political. And Boomer had some comments today regarding certain athletes from the USA that are talking disparagingly about our country. I want to play this from Hunter Hess. He is a Team USA freestyle skier. And I want to get this out here. Give me just 1 second, folks. This is just one example of what Boomer is talking about. Okay, Boomer Esiason, I should say. Let me get this here video. Let's see here. That's not it. I'm working on this. Present to stage. Here it is. Share screen. This is not working. Hold on here. Stop screen. All right, now let me try this again. Share screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. This is Hunter Hess, U.S. Olympian, talking about the current state of affairs in America.
Mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Okay. So that came from Hunter Hess, U.S. Olympian. There have been other athletes that have said some things. So today, you've got Boomer Esiason making comments on his morning show, and we're going to bring you that one here in just a second. I want to share that one as well. Here's Boomer Esiason's reaction to the Olympians speaking about America.
Down and just do their sport and play for our country and respect the flag and respect everything that's going on. ends up winning.
Yes,
No, I
that's
saw
right.
the end of that too. But I mean, like I was sitting there watching, the freestyle skating by, our ice skating team, figure
No.
skating team that won the gold medal.
Are they happy to represent America?
Yeah, they seem to be
Okay.
happy to represent
All right.
America. Not everybody is, but everybody should just pipe down and just do their sport and play for our country and respect the flag and respect everything that's going on.
Okay. Boomer Esiason, okay, should pipe down and respect the flag. Oh, so here's where I'm going to disagree with this line of thought that Boomer has, okay? Since 1968 and possibly even before that, if you want to go back to Cassius Clay, who turned pro, became heavyweight champion, and didn't want to participate in the Vietnam War, gave up the title or was stripped of him, became Muhammad Ali, spoke out about things. The 68 Olympics happened, right? All of that with the black solidarity with I don't know why I'm forgetting their two names right now, but all of that, ever since the 60s, professional athletes have taken a stance politically in this country. And I have no problem with athletes who are unhappy with the unrest or what's taking place in our nation right now. I talked a little bit about this yesterday. And again, I don't want to get on a political rant, but I'm happy to do so in the sense that if you're unhappy with the way things are in your country, if you're on a global stage, and this goes back to even Bad Bunny a little bit and being on the NFL's halftime show yesterday, as controversial as that may or may not have been. When you have a platform like they do, it's almost an obligation, as far as I'm concerned, for you to speak on topics that are asked of you by the media. If the media asks you a political question, you should feel free to speak on how you feel. I don't care if it's the Olympics or not. I don't care if you're representing the United States of America. If you are representing the United States of America, you should absolutely 100% be able to say whatever it is that you feel. Do I like it when people bash America? Absolutely not. I'm America first. I am America first. I have always been America first. I am not MAGA. I am America first. I am about people in this country as Americans, all of us. If you are born here, you are born into what is the greatest country in the world, unquestionably, for everyone. Everyone, black, white, Latino, Asian, you name it, Filipino, pick someone. Pick a culture, pick a nationality. If you are born here, you have been born into the greatest country ever created. Still, we got a lot of problems, right? A lot of problems. But one thing I will always support is an athlete's willingness to answer questions, whether they are political or not. And on a global stage, you're going to get questions asked of you. They're going to ask you what you think of the president of the United States. They're going to ask you what you think of the political climate in your country. They're going to ask you about how you feel about your country bombing another one or taking a president out of another country militarily. They're going to ask these questions, and these athletes are obligated to answer how they feel. And they shouldn't feel any shame from a Boomer Esiason. They shouldn't feel any shame from anybody who says, oh, they're disparaging America. Speech, free speech, is exactly that. It is free. You are free to say what you think. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with it. And I might come back at you and say otherwise. I might come back at you and say, oh, allow me to retort and maybe tear down what it is that you're saying. Right? We have a massive racial divide in this country right now. A variety of things. We have a political divide. We have a racial divide. We have a socio-economical divide. We've got to figure this stuff out or the country's doomed. And again, not trying to go down a tremendous political angle here on what I dub as a sports show, but the simple truth of the matter is that a Hunter Hess and some of these other athletes should not be poo-pooed by people in the media who say, oh, you can't talk about that. Yes, you can. You're an American. You have the absolute right to speak your mind, especially when people in the media globally are asking you questions. They're asking questions, as is their right to do so. As is their right to do so. And it is with that, I say Hunter Hess and all these other athletes they have the absolute right to speak their minds freely, and they shouldn't feel otherwise. And Boomer Esiason can say what he wants. If he thinks they should shut up, his opinion. I don't agree with it, not one bit. I think these people are, and they lean very left, obviously, right? They lean very left, and that's okay. Because I don't agree with the vast majority of what people on the left say these days. And I say that as somebody who I still consider myself to be a Democrat, just not the current Democratic system or the Democratic Party that we see right now today. You should be allowed to say what you want in this country. And that includes hate speech. That includes hate speech. Hate speech is free speech. Facts are not hate. Facts are not hate. Doesn't matter the topic or subject matter. We have a right based on the Constitution to be able to speak. You threaten somebody's life, a little different, right? You make certain comments that are way past the line, I can understand. But the general rule of thumb that I've always lived by is that the Constitution protects our ability to say things. And when you have to make laws to amend certain things, we have a problem. I have a problem with that. And so should you. So should you. Hunter Hess and other athletes have the absolute right to speak their minds. When the subject matter is uncomfortable, become comfortable with the uncomfortable is what I would say to you. All right, just a couple more minutes here this evening. We'll be wrapping up the show here in just a few minutes. I want to thank everybody that's been hanging out on the stream this evening. About 30 of you tonight so far on the various platforms. Listen, it's better than zero. It's more than I anticipate. I hope there'll be more tomorrow. If you are not following us on our YouTube channel, I would suggest you go to our main page and click on the link. It takes you to our YouTube channel. You can follow us over there at Steel City Sunday on all the social media sites at Steel City Sunday. I can't thank everybody for popping in and out through the course of the stream today. Mean Green, Trail Guide Steve, anybody that left a comment this evening, I appreciate you greatly. As I said to you, I'm just doing an hour a night right now, and I'm just enjoying it. Whether it's 4 people or 400 people, we've had some pretty good streams with a couple thousand people. We've had some streams that have had a handful of people. And I'm just going to keep popping on here 3 nights a week at 7 o'clock and let the chips fall where they may in terms of who shows up. That's what we're going to do here. And we're going to continue this through into the springtime as we work our way through the winter. I really, really believe that we will be downtown for 4 nights of coverage for the upcoming NFL draft. That is an absolute goal. It is on the radar. I intend to make that happen. I want to continue to build our content. I want to continue to work with the people that we have, whether it's John Fedko, whether it's Paul Zeiss, Jerry DePaula, Todd Haley, Mike Ostie, Zig Fracassi, who's our was our NFL insider this year. Want to do bigger things in 2026. But we can't do it without you. You folks show up, you comment, you like, you subscribe. It means a great deal. It really does. I'm trying to get this all done as it is with a busy schedule during the daytime. Thank you very much, Mean Green. I am trying to do my best. And that's all I can ask for myself is that I try to do my best. I'll try to do the old Barry Horowitz pat on the back there. Little kayfabe action, kayfabe forever. All right. Tomorrow's show to be determined where. I don't know if it'll be in Charlotte, Rock Hill, or here. I'm going to be somewhere tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, barring some sort of catastrophe. I didn't even look at the NBA schedule to see if the Charlotte Hornets are in town tomorrow. I should have actually looked at that. That would be amazing if they were, because I would probably go to an NBA game, even though I hate. The Charlotte Hornets are home tomorrow night. How much are tickets on StubHub? If these tickets are like $20, I'm 100%. There may be no show tomorrow. I might actually do the show from Charlotte. How many tickets? Continue. Oh, $12. I'm going to an NBA game. I might stream for an hour from the Charlotte Hornets game tomorrow night. I think I have found my calling for tomorrow to go to see a. Well, hold on a second. Here is Charlotte playing the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. Oh God, 26-20. The Hawks are 26-29. How bad is Charlotte? They got to be terrible. They're 25-29. Could be streaming live from Charlotte tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. There's a good possibility that I'll be going to an NBA game tomorrow night. All right. The entire cast and crew, for everybody that participated this evening, thank you so much. My name is John Phillips. We do this 3 nights a week at 7 o'clock. Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. I can't thank everybody enough. We'll be back tomorrow, possibly from Charlotte. We'll talk to you then. I'm John Phillips. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a fantastic evening, everybody. Again, Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, right here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network.